I wish somebody had told me this a long time ago. It would have saved me a lot of hassle, a lot of aggravation, and frankly, a lot of emotional stress. If you're new here, welcome. There are so many channels out there on how to grow your YouTube channel, how to show up and blow up online, about the best strategies for titles, for thumbnails. And that is valuable stuff, and I'm so glad that's out there. But there's something that all of these YouTube coaches are keeping from you that is as important, if not more important. And that's the biggest secret to YouTube growth, which I'll go into.
Here we go!
There's this framing that the best way to grow on YouTube is to grow fast, to go viral, to the moon and beyond. And so many people show up as new YouTubers with the stated goal to grow their channel as fast as possible, to get to monetization and beyond. And that's a worthy goal. And I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't looking to grow as fast as possible. We want it now, like Veruca Salt and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We want it now. We want it yesterday. We are working hard, and it's only human, right?
It's only human natural.
But this human strategy, this need, actually holds us back. And that's because the secret ingredient to growth on YouTube or any other platform is time. Some of the strategies out there are amazing, and they will increase your odds, and a lot of them will increase your speed, especially if you're in a good niche, a hot niche, something that people are really looking for. But all of it needs time to seed and to take hold, especially if you don't already have an established presence. If you're new to having an online platform or new to YouTube. Actually, I did a video on why that is, why people who have an established channel on YouTube will have an easier time growing, which I will link below, but it's gonna take some time. And I think that making peace with that is key, paradoxically, to actually growing a little faster and growing better, more importantly. Just stopping that short term, I want to grow fast, I want to grow fast, I want it now, I want it yesterday. You know, it kind of reminds me of a study they did about talk therapy. Okay, so spoiler. I have a psychological research background. I went to school for that.
Nerd alert. Nerd alert!
And there was a famous large-scale study about talk therapy where you go in and you talk to a counselor. And in this study, they compared different forms of talk therapy, different schools of counseling to each other, and also to time. So they had patients who came in, and some people had one school of talk therapy, REBT, another had CBT, another had DBT, these different schools of behavioral therapy. Somebody else had psychoanalysis. And then they had one group of patients where they didn't have any therapy whatsoever, just time passed. And what they found is actually why I went into research and not into counseling, but that's another long story. What they found was that all the groups fared about the same, including the group that just waited. You know what they say, time heals all wounds. It appears there's some truth to that. Now, for counseling clients that had high degrees of distress or discomfort, having somebody there to support them, to talk to give them things to try, kind of give them a nice distraction while time healed their wounds and they kind of sorted it out. And we have a little bit of that inside of ourselves. Now, I'm not sharing this to take away from counseling. I have lots of friends who are counselors. I used to work with counselors. I have found talk therapy helpful at different times in my life. Not trying to be anti-mental health with this. But what I'm trying to say is that time is extremely powerful, and I don't think it just applies to talk therapy. I think, and I know, that time is huge when you're trying to build an online platform and break out as a content creator. And similar to the talk therapy, improving your skills as you get used to the process of creating, and as your audience has time to find you and for you to find them, gives you something else to focus on other than,
oh my gosh, how many followers do I have? How many views do I have? Am I growing fast enough?
which is awful, it's painful. Just don't do that to yourself, because improving your skills and the fact that you're working on improving your skills is a double-fold thing, right? Because your videos are going to get better. You're going to find it easier to put out a video when you don't feel like it, because you're going to have trained yourself and gone through the motions all that time. So it'll set you up for success and allow enough time to pass for people to find you and for you to find them. And who knows, maybe you'll post something, the algorithm will take off with it. But don't aim for that. Don't make that a pass-fail. enjoy the journey. I'm serious about this. This is a huge game changer. This is what success looks like. Because here's the other thing. If you focus on just showing up and improving your skills and enjoying the process and letting time pass naturally rather than racing, sprinting and putting all this pressure on you, and you build those skills, then if you do have that lucky break that I just talked about, if you do have something the algorithm just pushes out like crazy, then when that happens, you will be more prepared for the realities of that. Because hitting it big can be very, very stressful. And frankly, you don't want to be a viral hit right out of the gate. I mean, it sounds good, right? Probably do a longer video on this later, but just briefly, think about the one-hit wonders for music. They go out there and they do everything, and then they have the hardest time coming up with a sophomore follow-up because there's all this pressure and all this expectation. They have no idea why their first record was a hit, so they don't know how to duplicate that. And as a YouTuber, you do not want that. You do not want to have one huge viral video and then no idea how it happened, no ability to recreate it, nothing. Because I'll tell you a secret, there are very few big hits that make somebody for life. Even something like a huge record, usually people need to have a string of hits to have something that's stable and consistent and something that can last. Because hitting and then going down is like, what's the point? That's awful. Plus, there are stresses that come with a big audience. You know, I have a large audience elsewhere. I'm relatively new to YouTube, but I have multiple other online presences, including one that's got 250,000 followers, one that's 100,000 followers, that sort of thing. And I'm glad it took me a bit to build those things because I know how to deal with the kind of stresses that come with having a larger platform, which is things like mean comments or people misunderstanding you or confusing you with somebody else, and just all these things that come once you have a really large platform. The nice thing is that it typically doesn't happen overnight, so you have time to adjust to it, and it's normal. You have all the skills to deal with it. Anyway, the secret ingredient to being successful on YouTube and elsewhere online is time, and you want time to adjust. So keep that in mind. Don't let rushing to become the next big thing rob you of the enjoyment, the skills, the experience. Enjoy the journey. You don't want to be clueless viral hit. This is something that YouTube coaches won't tell you. They'll tell you about titles and thumbnails and all that good stuff, but they won't tell you that it's good to grow consistently, intentionally, even if that means growing a little bit more slowly. Anyway, it was great talking to you as always. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.